In this video, we're going to be making this potato and onion bin. Let's do it. Alright, welcome to Whitman's Custom Woodworking. We're going to be making this potato and onions bin. This is a commissioned project. Client sent me this photo. I'm not sure where it came from. It's a nice looking potato and onion bin though. And she also provided me with the dimensions and that she had gray, black, and white in her kitchen. So she wanted to be able to match within that color scheme. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so we're just using 2x material construction lumber. This is pine. And I'm just cutting it up to the lengths I need on the miter saw station. And then I'm taking it over to the joiner where I'm flattening one face. Then it's over to the bandsaw. I'm just getting rid of some of the thickness. I want these to be at 3/4 of an inch when I'm done. So I think I'm cutting these at around 7/8 and I'll finish thicknesses them at the planer. Little snafu here, my bandsaw blade broke. I had to put my big Haas blade on there to finish up. But then I just ran them all through the planer. Got both sides looking pretty good. Got it down to about 3/4 of an inch heavy because I know I'm going to be coming back through the planer after the glue up. And once all that was good, I had to square up one edge back on the joiner. Then was over to the table saw. I put a rip blade on and just ripped them all to 3 inches in preparation for glue up. And then it was just a matter of organizing the pieces, best sides up kind of thing. Just looking at the grain pattern and making sure everything looks good. No noticeable knot holes or anything like that showing on the outside. But once I was happy with that, it was time to start gluing them up. Now because this is pine, I had to use some sacrificial pieces on the outside so the clamps wouldn't dent the soft pine. And I also used cauls to keep everything flat. And those are just flat strips of wood with packing tape wrapped around them to keep the glue from sticking. I'm just using Titebond 2 for my glue. This is an interior project, so there's no need for Titebond 3. I'm also keeping a wet rag handy to clean up all the squeeze out and everything as I go. Using a lot of clamps. I had to break out the big boys for the bigger panels. And I even broke out my vice clamps for the last one. I was running out of clamps quick. Yeah, the next day they were dry, so I started taking them out of the clamps and cleaning them up a little bit. The idea was just to get it flat enough to where it would run smoothly through the planer. I'm going to clean them up good on the planer. Just took a couple passes at the planer to clean up both sides pretty good and got it down to its final thickness of 3/4 of an inch. And this is what they look like coming out of the planer. My next step will be to cut them all to length and make sure they're all square. It's a good idea to first label them. That way you know you're working on the correct part before you go cutting it up. And I just kind of bounced back and forth between the miter saw and the table saw. I even broke out the jigsaw to cut the angled part on the long sides. I also took this time to do the layout of the rabbets and dados that I'm going to be using. And to cut those out at the table saw, I've got to install my dado stack, which cuts out the full 3/4 of an inch with one pass, which is super helpful. And after I got them all dadoed, I went ahead and threw it together. I wanted to work on the lid because I knew I was going to be putting an angled cut on the lower edge of the potato bin lid. I just did that at the table saw by tilting my table saw blade to the correct angle and ran it through. Now I'll just bring it back to the assembly and mark for the other edge. And then I'll bring it over to the table saw while the blade is still set at the correct angle and cut that one off. Then of course I bring it back over and make sure it fits. And as you can see, it fit pretty good. So I went ahead and took it over to the CNC where I went ahead and engraved both the potatoes and the onions lids. And then put it back together to see what it was going to look like. I think that looks pretty good. So I decided to start gluing it up, and I'm going to be using dowels to affix the bottom toe kick, I guess, kicker plate that's down there, and the middle plate in between the onion and potato bin lids, and then the very top horizontal piece. All those are going to be glued in with dowels. The shelves will not be glued in, they're just floating in there. And then on the back piece, which will be screwed in, it's going to have slots for the shelves to expand and contract into. Since it's a solid wood project, I need to allow for that expansion and contraction. And the back's going to be made out of just 3/4 inch plywood, and I'm going to be recessing that using rabbets all the way around the perimeter of the back, and then screw that in. So I just break out the trim router and put a template bit on there and just laid a board across there and used the bearing to ride against that board to give me a nice little rabbet on the back. Now it was a stopped rabbet, it didn't go all the way through, so I had to clean up the corners with chisel. And I went back to the table saw to cut my back panel out of the plywood, and here I'm setting up the dado to go ahead and put the dado slots in there to receive the shelves. And once I got the dados dialed in, I had to rip the back panel to width, the final width, and so I had to go back to my rip blade on the table saw, and then I just did a dry assembly, make sure everything was square, and everything looked pretty good. So it's time to take it apart and finish it. Now, I figured I'd start by painting the letters black. I of course sealed the wood grain with shellac. It's a de-waxed shellac. The aerosol cans are de-waxed. It's the same thing essentially as the Zinsser seal coat. It just provides a barrier between two different layers of finish. So I sprayed that to protect the raw wood from any bleed out from the black paint, and then sprayed the letters, and then of course I'm going back over it and sanding the surface, which was protected with the shellac, and just removed all the black paint from the surface, leaving only the black paint in the letters. I also painted the hinges and stained the wooden knobs for the lids, and then I just started surface prep on the rest of the panels. I think I sanded everything up to 220. Once I got it sanded good, I started taping the areas that are going to be stained later. I only wanted shellac on the interior, so the entire inside is going to be a shellac finish, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm just spraying the insides of all the panels with shellac and putting like 3 or 4 coats on the inside. Now, pre-finishing the interior like this before glue up makes cleaning up squeeze out a lot easier because it just pops right off of that shellac. So at this point it was ready for the glue, so I grabbed the Titebond 2 and started gluing it all back together for its final assembly. And after the glue dried, taking it out of the clamps, I went ahead and attached the back with some screws. Then I needed to turn my attention to the hinges, so I grabbed the lids and just started marking where they needed to go. I chiseled out some mortises for the top hinges. And after I got the mortises done, I went ahead and attached the hinges. I had to make a few adjustments here and there to get everything square. But once I got it all together, the end result, all the lids were opening and closing perfectly and laid flat when closed. And after assembling, I just went ahead and took a couple of shots of the pre-stain assembly. It's all going to have to get taken apart now, but it's looking pretty good. So after supplying the client with a few samples of the different finishes I was considering, she decided on this one, which I love because it provides so much more depth to the pine grain than just a single stain or obviously paint. It starts out with a Minwax pre-stain for oil-based finishes, and then on top of that I used Varathane's Antique White as the base stain. Then of course you have to seal that with Zinsser Seal Coat, and then over the Zinsser Seal Coat you do the second stain. In this case we're doing gray to match her kitchen, and then you wipe that off and let it dry. Now, because the second coat is essentially a glaze coat and doesn't really soak into the surface as much, I didn't want to wipe on the seal coat to lock that in, so I used the aerosol can shellac, which is the same product, just a different application method. And this locks in the gray. And after a little hand sanding to smooth out the surface and to scuff it up a bit for the top coat to stick, I used a wipe-on poly, which is basically just a full poly out of the can mixed half and half with mineral spirits. It thins it down and makes it apply nice and smooth, but it's very thin, so you have to put a lot of coats on. I think I ended up with about 8 coats. But once that was dry, I just reattached the hardware and then realized, oh yeah, I gotta drill some holes in the back. You want your potato onion bin to breathe. So I just took some pegboard and used it as a template for the back panel and just drilled a few holes until I was happy with the number of holes in the pattern. Now let's screw it on and get ready for the reveal.
Wishing for style for the cool kids to see. I'm just a